Well, it's a big moment in any young man's career to score his first Premier League goal, but when it's the winner against the champions...
Yeah, he won't ever forget this evening, will he? And rightly so. He did very well, the goal and the assist in the other one. So it's been a great night for him. Very good night for Arsenal. And Arteta made changes to the lineup. We all thought that he had one eye on the semi-final on Saturday. Perhaps he did. But those changes worked because they brought freshness to the Arsenal team. Yes, the 2 goals were 2 mistakes from Liverpool, but then Arsenal had to defend very, very well, and they did that.
I think that's the big plus point, isn't it, for Arsenal? We're used to watching Arsenal be, they've been called soft at times, weak at times. This is what they do. They've always done this for the last 10 years. Well, today we saw the resilience in them. We saw the resilience in Holding and David Luiz. No messing around, no mistakes, clear your lines. I think early on they got caught out, wanting to play out from the back and the goalkeeper, but after about 15 minutes, the message came on and everything went long and they cleared the lines a lot and there was no mistakes, and that's all you can ask for. They allowed Liverpool to play wide. They allowed them to cross the ball in. They allowed to, to attack down the flanks because they were very comfortable in anything that comes across, we are clearing it. And it worked today, and whether that was a plan because that's what they're expected to face against Manchester City, who will dominate possession like Liverpool did, and they will allow the balls out wide because they'll fancy themselves up against Gabriel Jesus or Raheem Sterling or Bernardo Silva. It worked tonight, and they have to do that all the time. That's all we want from Arsenal. Consistency in that block of centre defence and centre midfield. Be hard to beat, and they were like that tonight.
Yes, it was Alisson's mistake, but Reiss Nelson's finish you were impressed with, the composure.
I was really impressed. Yeah, there was no panic at all for someone so young who wouldn't have been in this position many times. Look, he doesn't panic, takes the touch with the left foot, sticks it away with the right foot. He's under pressure. He hasn't really got that much time to think about it, which probably helps him. Look, the left foot touch and sticks it away beautifully.
You know what I liked, Al? I like the way he gets himself back on side there. He runs backwards to make sure that he's available for that pass. It's not a case of the goalie's made a mistake, right, I'll just sit and watch. His first instinct is to get back, run backwards, get on side, in the hope that he might receive a pass. And as Alan said, when it came to him, his first touch was beautiful and he just slotted it into the net. Really nice goal for someone such, inexperienced.
Yeah, a moment certainly to remember for Reiss Nelson, and one to forget for the Liverpool goalkeeper, Alisson.
Alisson, how irritated and frustrated is everyone in the dressing room right now?
Yeah, we are, of course. Always, when you lose a game, is difficult to get it, but tonight we deserve to lose. It's not often that this happened with us, but tonight we don't play enough to win or even draw.
Tell me about the 2 goals conceded. We're so not used to seeing self-inflicted mistakes from Liverpool.
Yeah, I think it's maybe 2 individual mistakes from me and from Verge, but normally when you commit a mistake, our team is ready there to defend again. And tonight we wasn't there. And then in the game, when you commit too many mistakes and you are not 100% involved, you are punished conceding goals. And that's what happened tonight. But this is stay here. Stay here tonight. We have to learn from this. And we have now more 2 games to close this season in the best way.
There'll be easy accusations that it's because the title's already won that there was a bit of switching off. Is there anything in that?
This is our fault. It's on our hands. We know that we are not giving all that we can. Maybe, I don't know if this is the reason, because we switch off after being champion. The fact is that we are the champions. But we want to finish as a champions, playing as a champions, playing as we played before. We know why we became champions, not that we arrived there and play in some way that bring us here. We know what we did to be champions, and it's not easy. So we need to bring back the motivation to play again and give 100%. To win the last 2 matches, and we need to think in the next one.
He's reminding everyone of Liverpool standards there. Of course, just 1 defeat last season in the Premier League. They've now lost 3 of their last 9 games. They'd lost 3 of their previous 74, just for context, Liverpool. Is it just natural human nature that slight measure goes when you're champions?
Yeah, they've been under that much pressure for such a long time, Liverpool Football Club, to deliver the Premier League. They've been at it for 3/4 of the season. They then eventually win it. It is totally understandable that they're not at it. Their fans might not want to hear it, but I get it. I understand it. It's, as I said, it's been so intense for them, playing under the conditions of not having won the title for 30 years. They eventually get there. Then they have a party. And it's impossible just to switch it on and off like that. They're relaxed and they're not at it. It's quite clear. How many times this season have we sat and praised Liverpool for the way they've got at teams and went after teams and pressed and closed? And the number of times we've said about their passing in the forward areas, it's quick, it's too good for other teams. There's been none of that. None of it really in the past few games. But as I said, I get it and I understand it, and it's very difficult to criticise them after the heights they've hit and achieved this season.
It's not even 3/4 of the season. It was last year as well. If you remember, they lost to Manchester City, and then they were unbeaten, and they win the Champions League, and then they roll into this year and they do exactly the same again, and then they lose to Watford, and then we start thinking, what happened against Watford? Their standards are so high that when they come down a couple of percent, we look for reasons why. And Manchester City, it was, they had a party and there was lots of mistakes against Manchester City, although Manchester City were excellent. And Arsenal, again, were excellent tonight, but there's visible mistakes that we saw tonight that we haven't seen. Well, from Van Dijk, I don't think we've seen a mistake like that ever in a Liverpool shirt. From the keeper, we haven't seen him make mistakes. We've seen him make a few errors, but not real mistakes like this, collective mistakes. And they were sloppy in the first half after getting off to a great start. So it has to be, that I'm the same as Alan. I totally understand. And, when they lost to Manchester City, I was virtually thinking then that the manager might start to rest more players until, and give them more and more time away from the grounds, because we don't know what finances are like at Anfield during the summer. But if they aren't going to refresh the squad by bringing in new players, they're certainly going to lose a few players. Whether they're going to bring in new players, we don't know. So if you can get a couple more weeks resting, or a month's more resting than the Manchester City players, that's where you have to take advantage of, That's what I believe anyway. I'd be resting a lot of the players now, saying, go on holiday, I'll see you when the season's... When we hear when the season starts, I'll see you.
I can feel Leicester and Manchester United fans screaming at the television because
but it doesn't
obviously they play Chelsea next.
Liverpool have done their business.
Yeah, I agree. I don't
care about anybody else.
I'm not for other teams looking at other teams to say you've got to play your strongest lineup. Liverpool have done their job. They've done what they had to do this season, which is win the league.